my secret now. I see dead people.
Welcome to Blondes and Booze. You are about to embark on a journey, one that often leads to more questions than answers. But fear not, your host, Krista, Aaron, and Brandy have the experience, the perseverance, and yes, even the gifts to pull back the veil and allow us to glimpse the other side. They will share not only their experiences, but will introduce you to world-renowned researchers and experiencers to help you find answers in the murky waters of what we call the paranormal. Their bonds with each other reach far beyond friendship, resulting in a pull no punches approach to the many subjects they explore. Their goal? To open eyes, hearts, and even minds to what lies on the other side, and the answers residing there.
Hey everybody, welcome.
Hi.
It's Friday. Yay, that's what Val said in chat. TGIF. Yeah. Amen.
That's right. I am so happy. It's like first day of vacation. I feel good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to work tomorrow.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
It's all good. It's all good. And I'm off on Sunday. Well, not really, because we're doing a pre-record on Sunday. And then Monday I go to work, but then I'm off Tuesday. So.
Yeah, but guess what? We get to go ghost hunting next Friday and Saturday. We're so excited.
I'm real excited about that. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to go and get it done and do it.
Right, exactly. Oh,
yeah.
Just to let everybody know that we do have a new member tonight. We've already seen her. It's Cynthia Price. Welcome, welcome.
Yep.
We appreciate you.
Yes, very much.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll start leaking secret content really soon.
Yep.
So you'll all of our members will be able to see that. So we're excited about getting that started.
Absolutely. I'm ready. Let's do it. Next Friday, we will be live from the Ray County Museum. So
yes.
If any of you guys have tuned in before to some of our live stuff, we're going to be over there and we're going to go live. We're going to do a ghost hunt. And it's a place that's very familiar to both Brandy and myself. And I can't even tell you how many times I've been there and investigated and just been there, not even investigated. So a lot of the ghosts, they know us. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of like a face your fear kind of night for me.
Yeah.
I'm really going to try to do that basement by myself. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm going to because it's very active down there in that one room, which we'll talk about on the show that night.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those that I'm kind of nervous about. I'm not used to doing an area like that affects me like that alone.
Yeah. Well, we got your back.
Maybe I'll have a camera person. At least I won't be standing there by myself.
No, there are mannequins down there, so you won't be by yourself.
They'll scare me too.
Yeah.
How many times you turn a corner and an abandoned museum or a house or something, and there's just something in the corner that looks human. You're just like, wait, stop.
Well, the thing about that museum is that she has mannequins, because it's all the rooms are themed differently, and there's 50 rooms to look at and go through, and every one of them has a different theme. So a lot of like period clothing and stuff. So they're on mannequins. So that whole building is full of mannequins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can freak you out.
That place is beautiful during the day, but it changes at nighttime. Let me tell you.
Yep. I like the museum though. It's one of my favorite go-to places, and it's I don't know. I guess maybe because I've been there so much. I don't know. Why
Yeah,
don't you,
it kind of grows. It grows on you like you're home away from home type of
it
thing.
does. It does. Why don't you let everybody know about this week?
Oh, absolutely. On Mondays at 8 p.m. Central, it's Texas Front Porch with me as his co-host. On Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, it's Van Beer and Variety. Now, I need to remind you that you need to go to everybody's specific channel and like, subscribe, and hit that notification button because we no longer simulcast to each other's channels. So we're all kind of separate right now. We're still one big family, but we're all on our own channels. At 8 p.m. Central on Tuesday, we have Beyond BMR with Bigfoot Michigan Rob. On Wednesday, in the near future, we're not sure exactly when, we have Danielle Diva with the Diva Dimension. She will be showing at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday at 12 p.m. Central, it's Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob with his beautiful co-host Krista. And Thursday night at 8 p.m., it's Blondes and the Booze. On Friday, if you can't get enough of us, of course, it's at 8 p.m. and Blondes and Booze channel on YouTube. And it's Blondes, Booze, and the Woo. And on Saturday, it's Tex and Danielle Diva again on Infamous Minds. Now, I don't know what they're doing exactly this week again. I don't know if they're continuing on with the story, but we'll have to stay tuned and check it out.
Yep. Sounds good. Sounds good. And tonight we were supposed to have Steve Stockton, but something came up and he couldn't be here. So our good old go-to, are you ready back there? I'm gonna bring him up.
It's our one and only, the other blonde.
The other blonde, yes. The blondes, the booze, and blondes, booze, and bandanas.
There we go.
Yes. Well, it was beers, blondes, and bandanas.
Remember that? How that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel naked tonight, so I don't have my mouse for my computer. And good thing my computer is a touch screen, but this is about to drive me nuts. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do y'all see my arm going like that?
Yeah. Not having the mouse is a problem. It really is, isn't it?
It is. I know when I got home and I was getting my stuff, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot it at work. So
yeah, I've got a touch screen, but at least I have a pen. I can just touch it.
Yeah, I can probably touch it with my pen.
Well, Brandy, I was going to ask, I always wondered about this because I know, Brandy, you do kind of chat. Are you on your phone when you do the shows? So how do you communicate? I mean, I can never figure that out.
Well, I used to use my phone because of where I live. It is rural and good internet is hard to find. And Krista was on me for weeks and months and forever to switch to AT&T. And thank you, AT&T. I'm now with them and I've had no glitches, no problems. And I've got a whole new setup. So I do have my phone here, which I chat on now. Yep. Everything is set up on a huge tablet where I can see it. It's big, it's beautiful, and no issues. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it.
Told you so.
Absolutely.
I hated when someone told me that. Told you so.
Well, I got to tell you.
When you're with somebody for like 20 years, you kind of hate to change, and it's just a pain in the butt. But sometimes you just have to bite that bullet,
Well, you do, and I'm going to be biting that bullet soon because I'll call Krista about 2:00 and say, "Hey, my internet's down."
Again.
Now, again, everybody, this is a reoccurring story. Most people that follow me know that I have problems and issues with my internet. So, and like Brandy, like what you were saying, I've been with this cable company for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. But there's lulls, and I get these internet
issues,
issues for 2-3 hours every day.
Yeah, that's
and it's like I'm so sick and tired of this, and I know it's not my equipment. I know my personal what I use for podcasts. Yeah. And in fact, I had 6 months ago. They put in brand new boxes. They did everything. So today, I called them, and of course, I was kind of mad. But you can't take it out on the
On the worker,
the
right?
person from a third world country that answers the phone.
Right.
And then I'm like, what? I don't understand you because, another, that's a whole nother subject, right? So I'm like, look, just, I don't know what to do because I'm thinking about canceling and dropping you guys. I'm over 20 years with you guys. And my buddy right down the road who has Xfinity, Comcast, the only time he loses his internet is when they have a power outage. Well, of course, and who wouldn't? But it's the only time. So they
Right.
said, well, because of the haze, the fog, the smoke rolling in from Canada. No. Don't give me that excuse.
Yep.
Because they're trying to figure out ways. So when I talked to this technician, you have to demand them to come out and rewire everything. And backstage, I was talking with you, Brandy, and you, Krista, and Brandy said, Rob, it might just be time to screw all that, bite the bullet, get a new cable company because
Yep.
they'll rewire it anyways.
Yep.
So, I'm probably going to have to do that because, it
Yep.
really is frustrating.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, Verizon was really good to me for a lot of years. I mean, I had great service and da. Even here in my house, I had good service. And then the last couple of years, it just seems to deteriorate where you can't even, I couldn't even get a good signal in the same place twice in a day.
Yeah.
So I just, I could sit in my kitchen, have a, great signal, and then go in my bedroom and not. And then the next day I could go in my bedroom, it'd be good. In the kitchen, it would be. And then there'd be other days where they're just get nothing. So it was just like, I can't have that.
Well, I've had AT&T phone service for many years, and I can go just about anywhere and get service. And so you pay a little more for it, but I travel so much. I need somewhere where I can get out, so it's worth it to me.
Well, I have to tell you, I was thinking about using AT&T because I used Sprint for the longest time, and over the last couple of years, drop call city, and you couldn't pick up nothing. So
Yeah.
I went with AT&T. I got a free phone, and haven't had a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So maybe I have to use them for the internet as well, or cable.
Yeah. I have Spectrum is my internet provider.
Okay.
But it's the only one I can get here. There's nobody else will service my area. So
Yeah, and my next door neighbor uses some Canadian outfit because he's from Quebec.
Mhm. Yeah.
But he's got a big dish on his garage,
Gotcha.
and I might have to ask him just to tap into his stuff.
Yeah.
Look, I'll pay you a little bit.
I'll give you $50 a month. Sound like a deal?
There you
Well,
go.
the thing about my neighbor, he's like 88 years old, and I called him out, and I thought he was full of crap. He told me that he invented the remote car starter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, really? So I said, what's your real name? And he is from Canada. He's from France.
Yeah.
He goes all over the world. He has 2 houses in Acapulco. He's got
Okay.
4 houses in my neighborhood that he rents. Old guy. Now he is. So he gave me his name. I looked it up, and sure enough, he has the patent on that. And he told me he gets paid once every quarter until the day he passes. I say, you're gonna give it to your kids then? Because my kids aren't entitled. It's just for me and me only. So yeah, so I got a millionaire living next door.
Wow.
And even my dad even looked it up before my dad passed away. And yeah, he's legit. And I looked it up. He is legit. So
That's cool.
yeah, so that's kind of cool.
That is really cool. Dang.
And you're kind of like, why are you living here then? Why are you not living?
Yeah, and then I guess 2 houses in Acapulco,
There
4
you
rental.
go.
So
There you go.
and he goes to Acapulco for 8 months out of the year, and for 4 months I see him. I see him in the summer because it's too hot in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool though. So
Yeah, no, it's totally cool. Totally cool. What do you guys want to talk about tonight?
Heck, I don't know.
You know,
Um,
we're just kind of up in the air
it's,
tonight. I
it's,
mean,
it's kind of random. You know, I will say this. I was telling you guys, you know, my knee is messed up. Now I'm going to rehab on my knee. So I was telling you guys a couple of weeks ago about those Dogman footprints, right? They were down by
Mhm.
the creek in my neighborhood.
Right?
So my knee is probably about 80%. I mean, I can now walk without a limp. So, Chris, I think I sent you a picture of that creek.
You did.
And wasn't that creepy? They
It
look
is
kind of
creepy.
like, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
perfect habitat for a
Yeah,
dog.
it's got like about a foot of water in it, and it's like really marshy and
Yep.
swampy. So I'm thinking that I'm going to probably, in a couple of weeks, anyways, I'm going to probably go investigate because my neighbor showed me that print. He showed me the picture, and it's definitely something.
Right.
It's not from an animal that lives around here, especially like again, I live in the suburbs, right? However, as I've told many times, there's a big horseshoe of about 3 miles that
Mhm.
surrounds us by this creek, and this
Right.
creek empties into the Detroit River. And so, with that being said, why not? And there's a wood line along this creek. It's some stretches of the creek, it's maybe 20 yards deep, but some goes as deep as 300 or 400 yards. So there's definitely enough there
Yeah.
for some cryptid to be lurking. And
Right.
I always say, well, it's not in my neighborhood, but how, you know, but we say that all the time. It's like, it can't be in my
Mhm.
neighborhood. Yet you read these reports about Dogman or Bigfoot in the city of Detroit, the inner city of
Mhm.
Detroit, that are in abandoned houses.
Yeah.
And I looked into that a little bit, and so it was just like there was a big okay. Here was the storyline. Bigfoot dumpster diving at McDonald's in the inner city.
Wow.
And I'm like, this has got to be a joke. I looked
right.
it up and such. So then I started doing some more research on it. But you know, the location of this McDonald's, and you got to remember, in Detroit there are miles and miles of abandoned buildings where nobody lives. Nobody.
Absolutely.
A lot of
Absolutely.
them, they've been sitting there for
Mhm.
years. Some have been burnt down to the ground. And some are just dilapidated and falling apart. And I've actually driven through these neighborhoods just to check it out, just to see, you know,
Right.
what's this all about. And I'm not talking about looking for Bigfoot, just to look into the inner city.
Mhm.
And but you know, in this particular area in in Detroit, it all backs up to the Detroit River. So if you put two and two together, you know, you're talking, whoa, Texas front porch.
Holy cow! Thank
Whoa.
you,
Yeah.
Tex. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tex. Woo-hoo.
So what we were talking about backstage is but anyway. So yeah, so why would because all these cryptids they travel the waterways, right?
Sure.
And and it's right by the river. So why not? Why would there not be a Bigfoot? So back to my original point, how there's no cryptid where I live. Well, if there's cryptids in Detroit, why would it not be
Right.
where I live?
Exactly. And that's the thing too, because I think I mentioned it on your show yesterday. Downtown St. Louis by the Arch, there was a dogman sighting, and apparently, rumor has it a dogman was killed down there. And that's really populated. That's not like abandoned buildings. I'm talking downtown by the Arch is populated. So
That's like a downtown
yeah,
robust area, correct?
yes, it
Yeah.
is. So I don't know, if they
But then
can
again,
go in big cities, why
it's
not
right
the
on the river.
suburbs?
It's right on a river.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right on,
See,
I believe it's the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Hmm. So
yes. So no matter what if the environment produces like rivers, lakes, streams, and power lines, because again, if you look in this part of Detroit, there are power lines, and in between the power lines is like just abandoned fields. So that's
Mhm.
another thing that, well, I don't know about Dogman so much, but Bigfoot has been known and spotted crossing and walking amongst the power lines.
Yeah.
And another thing that runs through here, which is another key factor, railroad tracks.
Yep. Railroad.
Oh, yeah.
How many times
Absolutely.
have I gotten reports on Bigfoot spotted along the railroad tracks?
Yeah.
There's nobody on a railroad track except for the trains.
Mm-hmm.
You might have homeless people that unfortunately they might walk along the tracks, but other
Sure.
than that, there's nobody around. So you got the Detroit River, you have these humongous power lines, and then you've got the railroad tracks. So guess what? They probably are there.
Oh yeah. Why wouldn't they be? It's a perfect way for them to get around, and enough of these railroad tracks, there's places to hide and stuff when
Well,
you can hear a train coming.
yeah, it's like a path of the least resistance.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can just walk down those.
Yeah.
They're normally deserted in most areas. There's not people out there hanging
Right.
out at the train tracks all the time.
Yeah.
So
Lily Pond says orbs float along railroad tracks all the time. That's interesting too.
Hi, Lily. I love Lily.
Mhm.
Lovely
But
Lily. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that I've never experienced that, but I imagine
Yeah.
they're all over.
Right.
Right.
I would love to know a conductor and talk to a train conductor and just see if they've seen anything weird.
well,
That's just
Krista,
a,
that
that's
just
such a
so happens I do know one.
Well, why
It's a
yeah.
don't you
female.
talk to her?
I know. I don't know if she'll come on the show, but we can get with her and talk with her.
There we go.
So yeah.
You know what? That's a great idea. You know what else would be a great idea that I just thought about? Especially since the Detroit River is so close to me, about 20 minutes away.
Mhm.
What about these guys that run these small barges? I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the 120-foot ones that go up and down, but there's a lot of small barges, maybe 50 feet, 60 feet. And
The
all
little
they do
tugs.
to like little tugs, yes.
Yes.
And off of the Detroit River, there are a lot of islands. There's a lot of forest. And maybe not so much a cryptid because they're on the barge and on the river. But what about these orbs and UFOs and all these other weird things? What about perhaps creepy serpents that are in the river or the
Yeah.
Great Lakes? The
Right.
Great Lakes are known for river monsters
Yeah.
or lake monsters, right?
Yep. True story.
Well, you know what, guys? Just so happens I know a few tugboat captains and a few barge captains.
Oh, here we
Of
go.
course you do, Brandy.
We
I got it. Because
Brandy,
you got to remember down here, it's about 70 miles south of me in Crothersville, they have where they make the the barges. They make them right there, and then they swoosh them in the water and all that kind of stuff. Don't you like that sound effect, swoosh? Anyway,
yes, I like it. Yeah.
but I know a lot of people who work there, and I know a lot of the
Glenn said-
captains too.
Glenn says
Yeah,
they're cold.
I know, Glenn. They are. Well, I tell you what, Glenn, and I was going to bring that up about the sturgeon.
Yeah,
They get they're ancient. They've been around since prehistoric times,
They're
and we
big.
had a story in the Detroit River
Yeah.
about a actual sea creature, and it literally you can see the hump. It would come up, and sturgeon are predominantly though they're bottom feeders, so it's unlikely to see a sturgeon at the top of the water unless you're in a stream that's very shallow. So this is back when I was a kid because I used to fish on the river with my brother and my dad all the time.
Mhm.
I never seen this, but there was a writing in the Detroit News, and it was about sea serpents spotted in the Detroit River. So me and my brother read the paper, and we got to my dad. Dad, you got to take us to the Detroit River. We got to go see this. Look at this. There's some sea monster. My dad, reads it. He was interested, but he's
Yeah.
thinking, well, whatever. So he took us to the river to go fishing. Now, I'm not going to come up with this story that we've seen this. We did not. However, though, it kept being spotted all around the area until finally this thing was caught, and it was a sturgeon, like Glenn pointed out. And this thing, you guys, was 27 feet long.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
No.
So it makes a lot of sense to see something hovering in the river. And the Detroit River's got like a weird vibe anyway, right?
Right.
And you see this thing, kind of reminds, ever see those videos about Patty, the Loch Ness Monster? How you see, that kind of like a snake
Right.
Yes.
activity,
Right.
or kind of like the Lake Champlain monster snake
Right.
type thing. So this was giving off that effect, but it was in fact, now people have, now who knows? I'm guessing, yeah, it was a sturgeon, and they caught it, and again, to put it back in the Detroit newspaper,
Yeah.
and sure enough, it was a sturgeon. But sturgeons it's weird because they are prehistoric. I don't think people knew that.
Yeah. Real quick, Randy just asking Brandy.
Oh, Randy. What up, Rando? Hi, Marquetta. Yeah, Marquetta Jones says the Detroit River is creepy. Marquetta is a Michigander. She lives maybe about 10, 15 miles from where I live. So, hi, Marquetta. But yeah, so yeah, the Detroit River is creepy. I fished there as a kid for a good, well, my dad took me and my brother from maybe the age of 8 to maybe like 13 or something. But very creepy. And speaking of the Detroit River, it's pretty cool because, I did that story on Dogman Island, right? Everyone's seen that, I'm sure. And, well, guess what? That story originated from the island of Groseal, where the people, I'm not going to get into that story, you guys, but people, go check it out on the channel if you like. The people heard these noises, these growls from inside their house. And long story short, there was a tunnel. They found a tunnel in their home because a lot of the homes along Groseal, along the Detroit River, they're all Prohibition style homes. I mean, they're old. Yeah, a lot of them are updated. When the rich people moved in, they kept the structures of the homes, but also, yeah, okay, river silver carp. I never heard of the silver carp. I heard of the
it's Asian carp.
Asian carp. I've
Asian
heard
carp,
of.
yeah.
Oh my God! In the Mississippi, I'll tell you about that in a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So anyways, these homes are from a lot of them are Prohibition. Their foundations are from the Prohibition days. So yeah, rich. That's back in the 1927, 29, whatever it was. So a lot of these homes, they're fabulous. They're beautiful. People come in with money, and they build them up. They add on. They make additions. So long story short, these people were hearing growls of these insidious growls, and it sounded like a wolf. So this person, it was East River Road in Groseal. So they investigated in their cellar, and in their wine cellar, they went and they were hearing these sounds from behind the wine cellar. And so the next morning, they were poking around, and there was a hollow wall. And they knocked down the wall. They knocked it down. The guy tells me, Rob, I can't believe I'm doing this. I tore down the wall. And he tears down the wall, you guys, and there's a tunnel. A tunnel led underneath the Detroit River to Canada. Now, it was used for bootlegging during Prohibition.
Right.
So he went in there. He went as far as he could. His ears started popping, but then he's seen these Dogman prints. He said Dogman, oversized wolf. So I'll end that part of the story there. So directly lined up from his house is this island where they went to, and he investigated, and they found more Dogman prints, and they found a Dogman on this island. So again, that is like the very brief description of this Dogman Island. It's 17 minutes long on YouTube. So that's how long the story is. Fascinating story. So I am going to be going there. I got a buddy who's got a boat, and I'm going to go investigate this island probably when my knee's 100%, because I don't want to go on this island and not be able to run if I need to. Because they saw Dogman on the island. In fact, the Dogman they seen was ferocious, scary. They had supposed telepathy thoughts put in their heads, like leave now or you will die type of thing.
Mhm. Oh,
So,
wow.
and so I looked on Google Maps and I found the island on Google. I found it on Google Earth, I should say. It's there, but there's about 40 islands in the Detroit River, and they're about 20 miles from this dude's house. So I'm going to go there probably, hopefully in August. I was going to do it in July, but I want to make sure I'm 100%, ready to roll. But the cool thing is, Jessica Jones is remote viewing that for me.
Oh,
And
so cool.
yeah, so what's going to
Awesome.
happen? So what's going to happen is this: she's going to remote view it, and then we are going to do a show on it on one of my either brunch or either with on Beyond with Tex, because I'm sure Tex will want to be a part of that one. But then I get Krista too, so I don't know what show. Don't know. I haven't decided. So
Jake's gonna leave me out of it. I'm gonna cry.
and Brandy, y'all can come on, but I think so. She's going to remote view it, and hopefully a lot of this stuff matches up to the story because this story was sent to me by not a subscriber, an email I got, and I did and I normally when I do my videos about encounters, you guys, I don't really vet them too much. I look
Sure.
up maybe the area that they're talking about, but I tell you what, this story was so phenomenal that I looked up a lot of the things this guy told me in the story.
Mhm.
I know the address of this house. I know exactly where the house is. I know about, and he said he was an affluent business person in the dental industry. Well, there are quite several on that island, and this guy matches that. And
Quick question. Do you know the population? Is it pretty populated on these islands or?
I couldn't tell you the population. I will tell you that the island is, if you went on, like, let's say you went on Google Earth and looked up Groseal, it's the biggest island. It is the biggest island. Now, there's a bunch of chain of islands which are half the size or less, right?
Mhm.
See, if you go down Groseal, there's like the Trenton Channel, and there's like 75 unpopulated islands,
Okay.
all clustered up, right? Some bigger than others,
Mhm.
and most of them are no one goes on because there's like Sugar Island, which is a popular island I used to go to because it had a sandy beach. It was stable. You could get up on it, and we would hang out on the beach and pull up
Yeah.
our boats and hang out and party, right?
Marquita just said it's not very populated, so
Yeah, no, she's right. I mean, again,
Yeah.
not very populated at all. But these other islands, and a lot of them, if you drive by on a boat, you can tell that you can't get to them. In fact, this island that I'm talking about, Dogman Island, these people went on the island from boat, but they had a 27-foot or 32-foot Sea Ray boat, pretty big craft.
Yeah.
But as you're approaching the island, they couldn't get to the island because it got rocky. So they had to anchor the boat, and they got in a little rubber man boat, right, with a little motor, and they had to
Mhm.
take that the rest of the way in. And when you get to this island, it's all overgrown vegetation.
Mhm.
There's not a sandy beach. It's tough to get on. But when they got on this island, with a half hour into their expedition, and they brought machetes and they were cutting through vines. It was the man, the wife, and a friend that had a boat, and they were cutting through, and they found big dogman sized prints, and then a dogman and then they found dead deer on the island, a fresh carcass.
Wow.
They found a skull of a deer, and then they're thinking, how in the hell does deer populate an island, right?
Yeah.
How did they get there? I mean, think about that. I mean, I guess I guess wildlife will flourish, right? They will end up anywhere. But how do they get there? Because damn well they don't swim very well. I'm sure they can swim to get out of a rift, to get out of a current or something, or walk through it. But yeah, it was deer, and so this story's so fascinating. So Jessica's going to remote view it. She's already started it. And she's giving me a little bit of teasers, and I'm really, really excited. And she goes, "Hey, Rob, I don't know if you should go." I'm like, "I'm going." So I'm thinking that the story the guy told me is coming together
Legit.
as legitimate.
Yeah.
So she and I are going to do a show the end of July. Then I plan on going in August to check this out. So that's what I got on tap as far as this, because I like to be a little more boots on the ground, and why not? It's it's a 40-minute ride in the car,
Yeah.
and about 20 minutes on boat.
That's close. That's close. Henry asked you, Rob, question: does the water freeze during the winter?
The water on the river,
On the Detroit.
parts do. Parts, it's such a strong current. You'll see a lot of floating ice. I've seen the river before during the dead of the winter. Parts are frozen, but it's more broken up. It's got a powerful current. It's not frozen solid. You can't go out and walk on it. No.
Yeah. Marquita said, my friend said the Coast Guards don't like people going on them islands.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Well,
that's interesting.
That's an interesting thing, right?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Glenn says, take a 12 gauge with you, Rob.
Well, we're gonna pack something.
I think I'd be packing something bigger than that. I'm just saying.
Well, you guys, again, in this story too, they apparently thought it was a flesh or blood creature. But if you go, you guys have to look at the story or listen, because I have part 1 and part 2 out.
Mm-hmm.
The strange thing about this is, there's flesh and blood prints, right? There's prints, and they seen something that looked like a dog man, but then it, again, like a lot of stories you hear, it set off this telepathic message, and then you guys, it didn't like turn around, run away. It kind of faded away.
Oh, wow.
So what is that?
What is that?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Roger says, that's kind of funny. Take an Army surplus tank.
We have a Harry's Army. What, Krista?
No,
Or what, Brandy?
I've got a question though. So, have you kept in contact with the guy that was having, who had the tunnel?
Oh yeah, I did part 1. Well, I did Dogman on part 1. I think it was like 6 or 8 months ago. I put out, and then I was emailing the guy back and forth. He was kind of saying he'll get back to me. I don't know his real name. I mean, his email name is something like Bojo92 or something.
Right.
And then he did give me a follow-up story, which I did Dogman part 2, Island part 2, where they went back, right? So yes. Now this guy, though, you guys, he's an older man. This story takes place when he was like our age. The guy is now into his 80s, and he decided it was time to tell the story. In fact, he don't live there anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He don't live there. He sold to somebody else. Yeah. And the funny thing is, one thing that was intriguing about the story too was the fact that this young couple back there, a younger couple during the time of the story, and they would always hear, though, from out in the distance, they would hear wolf calls or wolf howls. And they just thought it was so odd, because where I live, you guys, there's no wolves around me. This place is 40 minutes from me. There's no wolves, let alone a fox. You might get some coyotes run through, right? We get that occasionally, okay?
Yeah.
And like I told you guys before, we get for whatever reason, we have packs of wild dogs for whatever the reason. That again is strange to me. I don't understand that. But again, so he would go to his neighbors and say, look, and you got to remember, on the island, the houses, some parts, they're spaced out pretty good. They're not on top of each other like a subdivision. So, but he would go and ask his neighbors, do you guys hear wolf calls or wolf howls at night? And everyone looked at him like, what are you talking about? And he would say, Rob, distinctly at my house, they would be as loud as sitting next to you. That's how he could hear them echo from the distance. And of course, he heard them echo from inside his property, because his house was on a hill, and he would hear wild wolf howls from inside his property in a hill. See, and then where that hill was that was part of where the tunnel was formulated,
Yeah.
which led under the river for the bootlegging. Because he did look up in public record, and yeah, it clearly states that there was a tunnel built there, and suppose this tunnel was sealed off. Well, his tunnel was not; it was left open. He walked through the tunnel until he couldn't take it because he felt the pressure of the river where his ears would pop. So the question that I had was, then how in the hell did they transport booze? If you could only go so far, how does somebody really do that? So and then I looked into it a little bit, and he had told me that the river was more shallow. Now the depth of the river is it's much deeper. But back in the 1920s, when they put these tunnels together underneath the river, they were maybe 20 feet of water covered them, which made it very easy, right? You didn't have that intense pressure. So in 30 years, and the Great Lakes are overflowing, the river is higher, so that makes sense to me. So a lot of this stuff does check out.
Yeah, I agree. Rock and Rory asks, hey, have y'all ever tried an Estes session at a cryptid site? No, we have not, but you know what? That's a great idea, honestly.
Oh.
And we've used like
we used a spirit box.
Spirit box, yeah, and then we had a REM pod. We used a REM pod too.
Now we didn't get any hits on the REM pod, but the spirit box was a different story.
Yeah, so it would be something interesting to do for sure. And this here comment I think is funny. Wendy, I'm right with you. If something tried to get me, they just say, "Where's the beef?" I didn't order Jell-O.
Wendy's another one here. I like Texas comment. Yeah, Tex, camping in that tunnel will be cool. I would love to camp in that tunnel and set it up right before you could stand the pressure. That's a great suggestion. The booze and Tex should come out on my August trek here. We'll see. No
doubt.
But anyway, I am kind of geeked about this, so we'll see what happens.
No, you should be, because like I said, I've said it before, we've always done the paranormal stuff, and when we get to go out and do like the cryptid side of things, that's exciting, because ghosts don't scare me anymore, but I'm not gonna lie, them cryptid things, they scare me a little bit. And
and I'm the opposite of you guys. Even though I had that creepy Bigfoot encounter, I'm one of these, and you guys know that I had attachments from when I was married in my house with those.
Right.
But I still think if I go into a haunted house, I'm bringing something home. I think they like me or something. I don't know. So that's creepy. And I don't think I'm scared of ghosts either. I've seen plenty, but it's like, I don't know what about the paranormal, you guys. I mean, I'm getting better. I'm not a little baby. I wouldn't be hanging out to the back of Krista or Brandy's shirt, going through a house. I'm past that now. I'll be very close, but I'll be very close. You'll feel my presence.
As long as you don't run like a little girl.
No, I would never do that.
Because
I would stand my ground and defend you two.
There we go. Well, we're talking about the Ray County Museum when we're going there this next Friday, and I'm going to go down the basement into a specific area that I always something happens. I mean, I don't care. Something always happens. And it's not the little things. This is big. It's like I've had like a shadow person actually rush me.
Wow.
And you can feel the wind as they come up to you. And you know how somebody's staring at you, even though you can't see them, they're staring at you. That's it.
What room are you talking about?
The one in the basement, the agricultural room.
Okay. Because in the room, if you go past the agricultural room, and we'll go live on next Friday night, and we'll explain to everybody, but there is an entity in there that at one time he was chained to the walls, and he never left. And he communicates a lot with people and does a lot of weird and crazy.
I gotta say something to both of you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And to everybody listening, everyone in chat, and everyone listens later.
Here we go.
Krista and Brandy, you guys are so awesome. And I say this not because we're friends, not because we're all, hang out, online. until we meet. You guys, when you talk boots on the ground, everybody, these girls, they do more traveling in 12 months than I've done in 5 years. They investigate the creepiest and coolest places. They are always on the road. I'll talk to Krista. What are you doing? Well, I'm getting ready to take off for my expedition to blah, blah, blah. Brandy, what are you doing? Yeah, well, me and Krista, we're packing up and ready to go. You two are totally boots on the ground. And I respect so much what you guys do. I mean, I trust you guys in the haunted house, the Amityville horror house. I'll go there with you, and I won't be frightened.
There you
guys
go.
know your stuff.
There you go. Our friend Terry Mosby, she's in the chat. She's actually going to meet us over there next weekend too. So it'll be fun. Yeah, she's been there too. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy place. Like there's different, I don't know, different entities in different areas, and we know who's who, and we know who the more active ones are, and we like to there's one room, it's called Grandma's Kitchen, and we like to throw men in there because the lady that is in that kitchen, she doesn't like men in her room. It doesn't hurt anybody, but she likes to
go in there, make some noise.
Yeah. So
well, sounds like it's right up my alley. Go to a haunted house where they don't like men. That'd be my first.
Oh, it's just the one room. Just the one room.
Just, of course, just the one room. With me, she'll attach to me and follow me all over.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to think about it. For us, though, we investigate a lot of places where, in the time frame that this building was, was built or active, or was not a time for women.
No.
So women weren't allowed in certain areas of certain buildings. And Chris and I get a lot of flack, from spirits that way. Like, you're not supposed to be here, get out, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes we get bad names, it's just a thing that we deal with, And then, you always have those one locations like brothels and that sort of thing.
I was called a effing bee one time by a spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Now what provoked that, I wonder?
It was a bad case that I did out of St. Louis. Yeah. Yep.
And then we did a truck stop. Chris, remember? Tri-County truck stop. The bad language would fly like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
Boop, boop, boop. And you're like, whoa, boy. Truck drivers just had a way. They had a way of talking.
And when I was called the F&B, it was through the original like ghost boxes. And back then, and this has been every bit of 10 years ago, but they weren't programmed to say cuss words or anything like that. And I assure you, there was 3 of us down in that basement, and we all 3 heard get the F&B, and I was the only F&B in that room. So
because you got to realize that we're dealing with radio waves generally. And radio stations are more lenient today, so you may hear a cuss word or 2 that may come across that is nothing paranormal.
Right.
But just a few years ago, that was not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I was always, now that we're on the subjects, I know we got 4 minutes before we go to break. I just have it, I know.
It's all good.
You talk about, they convert this energy. I'm guessing it's energy. They convert these spirit boxes or these that make the verbiage, right? Mm-hmm. So how does it convert that energy into an actual message where you understand it, like talking? How does that work? Is that just
go ahead, Krista.
I was going to say it just sweeps, and picks up.
You're sweeping over radio stations at about 250 per minute.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So what the idea is, and this is really an IT person question, is it sweeps and they're supposed to manipulate the energy and radio waves and pull what they hear and pull words out for you to hear. Mm-hmm. What we're generally looking for or listening for is the words. Like, if we're asking a question and if we get a definitive answer, if you just hear a yes or no, you kind of just take them and throw them out the window.
Yeah.
But if you're asking something specific and you get a definitive answer, we're looking for that. We're also looking for a man and a man's voice or a woman's voice, a child's voice. We're also looking for the same voice more than once.
Yeah.
So if you keep getting the
Okay.
same voice over and over and over, you've got something.
Well, and
Or-
another thing that was interesting too, when we were at the LBL, we were running the spirit box session, and we were just letting it run, and just kind of talking. It did say Letitia's name. It said my name, and they're not real super common names that you're going to hear on the radio station. So that was a little odd. So
and the best thing is when you're out in a rural area and you have no radio station because you can't get anything in on a regular radio, and you
Right.
start hearing voices through it, and you're like, "Where's this coming from?" Because
Yeah.
you can't get any.
yeah,
So we
See-
like to use them. We like to use them, but I mean, it's not my most favorite part in my piece of equipment. It's not my favorite.
I got you. I'm just saying what this is. It fascinates me what you guys do. So it's like,
yeah.
I-
You'll have
I-
to come ghosting with us sometime.
oh, yeah, it's 100% gonna happen. We got to figure that out. Yeah,
Yep, for sure. 'Cause
absolutely.
we enjoy it, and like I said, it's just we're not only ghosts, we're broadening our.
Well,
our-
no, you're broadening. You're right. Well, I'm broadening mine. I mean, even though I've had ghosts. I've had more ghosts and paranormal encounters in my life, and you guys know I've told you all the stories. Then I had one cryptid encounter. Right now, I'm going to do this investigation in my area.
Yeah.
But I've had these, and it's like, and yeah, they were all just something about them that always kept with me, right?
Right.
And I never thought about investigating it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
know-
hold on. Let's talk about that after the break because we're going to check that out. We're going to talk more about that.
Yes, a very good call, Brando. It's 52 and 13 seconds.
All right. Give us 5 minutes, guys. We'll be right back. See you in 5.
See you in 5.
Let me play the right one.
Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking around with us.
Yes.
Yes, thank you to everybody for coming on in,
Yeah.
spending the evening with us.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I just wanted to mention our super chat is now open. So feel free if you'd like. Yay. We're so excited. And we would like to give a shout out to our members. We have Cynthia Price, who just joined tonight, and we have
Cynthia Prince.
Prince. Oh, I wrote it Price. What the heck
Yep.
did I do? Oh, that's me.
And then big shout out and thank you to Tex also.
Yes. And then, of course, Crystal McGee and Be Kind. We appreciate you.
Yes, we do. Very much so. Very, very much so. Let's go back on to talking to ghosts. Oh, well, thank you, BMR. You're so sweet.
He's even on with us.
Right. I know. We love you.
So, okay,
Yeah.
you said that you never thought to investigate further when these things happened to you.
Correct. Well, back again, I'm not going to go through my entire. I'm not going to what's the word? Chronicleize everything, but a lot of people have heard. You guys have certainly heard. I seen ghosts as a child, right? On the
Right.
walls. My brother didn't see him. I woke up and seen him, and then if the same ghosts follow me to when I got married at the marital home, right? Then I seen the ghosts in the bars. Well, my bar, not other bars, plural, but mine. And then, I've always just, I don't know, it's just weird. But now you ask the question, why did not investigate it? Now you got to remember, I was always busy working and doing things. So I just thank you, Titan. I always just,
Thank you, Titan.
just kind of, now you have to remember, I was not into the cryptids. I wasn't into podcasting. I don't think podcasting was even out during the time or YouTube or anything. I just never thought about exploring it. Right now, of course, when I was married, that was something that we just thought, wow. Of course, as a young kid, you don't think about investigating. And I saw UFO as a young kid too. So I never really thought about jumping into into the investigation. The thing though, that really, you guys know, I'm kind of, I sold my bar and what the thing about selling the bar, I wish that I would have, because when I was more, I wish I would have investigated that further, right? Because how creepy that ghost, those 4 ghosts I saw was, right?
Yes.
So
I mean, if
looking
you
back,
still had that bar, guess what? Brandy and I'd be coming to
yeah,
Michigan
well,
to investigate
well,
your
well,
bar.
well, here's the thing about that too. Had I been doing this while I was the owner of the bar, you damn
Thank you,
right I would have been
Crystal.
investigating it, right?
Right.
So,
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Crystal
much,
McGee.
Crystal.
Thank you. You know, now you said that
yes,
you had a little problems with the guy you sold it to. I remember you saying this because you sold it to him before COVID,
yeah,
Hmm.
and then COVID hit, and of course, there's a lot of businesses that just did not make it through that.
Absolutely.
Um, so is it sitting empty now? Is it?
well, yes, you kind of read my mind because it is sitting empty, and I was wondering if there's any way I could get into that place. So this
Or
has
we
been
can take up a
sitting.
fund and we all buy it back.
No, I
Yeah,
was just getting ready to say, is
I'm
there
gonna
a way?
set up a GoFundMe.
Yeah,
Right.
is there a way we can get into it? We can get
Yeah,
into
yeah,
it.
well, yeah. I imagine so. Yeah. Well, I told you guys. You guys know I talk to you guys off here. I talk to you guys all the time, as you know.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I drive past it. And it saddens me because actually I've sent text pictures of this place when I owned it about 4 or 5 years ago, and text is like, "Wow, that place is kick ass," you know. And yeah, and it was. And now, if you look at it today, because there's certain routes that I take to go to places that I avoid driving past it because so, I mean, I don't know what's going on with this. I understand in 2020 it the doors were locked, right?
Yeah.
And it's overgrown with vegetation. The parking lot is filled with it's weeds all over. The exterior of the bar is just falling apart. It's not taken care of. It's just like a place that looks like it looks like like you ever see those shows the mysteries of the abandoned where
Hmm.
there's like some beautiful
Oh, yeah.
castle or home or hotel in the middle of the woods
Hmm.
that's just overgrown. Well, this is what this place looks like.
Wow. And do you know how old it is or the history or anything of the building?
It was again, I revert back. It was during the Prohibition era. It
Hmm.
was first put up because I did some studying on it, a long time ago. I mean, pretty much after the ghost thing happened, the
Yeah.
place was there since Prohibition. In fact, it was a speakeasy
There you go.
at one point, right?
Hmm.
So that makes sense for with the cladded women and the
Sure.
gangster looking guys. So they kind of fit that era. So I'm guessing that they are what you guys, you know better than I, ghosts from that era that just they never
Could be.
wanted to leave the place.
Yeah. Could very
And
well be.
and as I was telling you, I had never experienced anything up until the night that I had my ghostly encounter.
Hmm.
But my employees would say, Rob, they'd always tell me, and again, this is well before I saw Bigfoot and stuff like that. I always had my ghost encounters. Say, Rob, this place is haunted. There's always they clean up at night. There always would be a bottle or two left on a table or a bottle of booze
Hmm.
left at the bar. And let me tell you guys, and I'm not saying this because my employees were good. They were good. They cleaned up. When I go in the morning before anyone got there, the place was spotless always. They
Hmm.
did their jobs. And the first thing they did before everyone went home, they cleaned the place. And then the manager or whoever worked late that night would go in the basement and do the paperwork. And then they would go home. And they would tell me 9 times out of 10, they'd go upstairs on their way out. There always would be something odd. There would be a bottle laying on a table. There was a lot of these stories are cliche or we've heard before where plates, because we had not glass, we didn't serve anything on glass unless you had steaks or something like that. But most of the things we used were the good plasticware. I mean, we could just
Hmm.
dispose of. But we had some china for certain occasions, and these things they would just fall out of a storage rack and crash and hit the ground and break.
Mhm.
You know,
Wow.
there would be like beer glasses that you would use in glass. We serve all beer in glass, of course. That would just
Mhm.
you hear them fall out of a cupboard or a shelf and break.
Right.
But there's nobody here. It's 3 in the morning. Usually, if you close up the bar, you close the bar at 2 in the morning. And if you're doing your job, unfortunately, at night, you're leaving at 3:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it takes that long to go through all this.
Right.
Yeah.
And it would usually be after 3 o'clock in the morning, which I guess 3 o'clock in the morning is what, the witching hour?
Yes.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. And it would always be right around 3 in the morning, 3:15 in the morning, where they would hear the strange noises, whispers, plates would break, glasses would break, and they would tell me this. Now, don't get me wrong, I worked 80 hours a week, so I spent many a night in this place, and it never happened to me ever. But I heard the stories over 2 and 3 years. I was there 13 years, and the employees started telling me this maybe the last 3 or 4 years that I had it, but they would just say it's just odd, very odd.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time, so yeah, I'd be inquisitive. So I would spend the night. In fact, I slept in the place many times
Yeah.
because I set up a room with a bed for everybody.
Sure.
Because if they didn't want to go home, they could crash and let themselves out in the morning. So I did that, and I never came across anything. Now, again, I believed everybody
Sure.
because I'm open minded. I was always open minded, but that one night, it hit me like, holy cow, you guys! I couldn't wait. I mean, I was, and you guys, I wasn't scared either. I
Yeah.
stayed the night that night, and I couldn't wait. I didn't sleep at all, not because I was scared, because I was so full of energy. I couldn't wait for the people to come in the morning so I could tell them, what
Right.
happened.
Right.
And when they did, and I told them, they're all like, we knew it. And they're like, but everybody was cool. They're all like, yeah, we know this place is haunted. So we were going to rebrand the bar and make it the Haunted Mystery Bar, But that never came to fruition because, again, I decided to sell it. And luckily I did. And now today it sits there as an eyesore that saddens me,
Yeah. And that's why, next weekend we're holding that event at Malvern. Brandy and I don't pocket this money. It goes to that location for historical preservation. That's what we do with it. And and that just bring you talking about your building, the condition that it's in now, it's that's why we do what we do and hold events at places.
But let me ask you guys this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is a supernatural thing or not, because this is 2023. I sold it, you guys, in Thanksgiving of 2020, okay? And when I sold it, immaculate. The exterior was immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all seen houses, buildings. They don't age in 3 years I wish I had a before and after. They
Mm-hmm.
don't age like that, you guys. I mean, it looks old.
Wow.
It looks, like old.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put my finger on it. 3
Yeah.
years, you're out, the exterior of a building. I don't care if it's abandoned or not. Do you think that I washed down the walls of no, I didn't do nothing to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kept up the parking lot. I kept up the grounds, right? Of course.
Sure.
But I never did nothing to the outside. How come the outside has that leafy stuff growing up on the walls? How come there's moss on the walls? Is it because of there's no heat or central cooling unit running?
Yeah, maybe.
Why does it manifest all this vegetation? I mean, it's literally covered like it looks like a jungle. The building is covered. To me,
Wow.
that's kind of odd, you guys. To me, that's a little strange because that would not happen. That doesn't happen to buildings, right?
It's kind of like almost the building is sad. It's just like there's just
You know what?
And
There's no life in there. There's no energy inside that place, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In fact, I think the life force of the customers maybe kept it alive. Maybe it really true. I know it's haunted, so maybe whatever's living there in a spiritual form is sad,
Yeah. It
and
enjoys
maybe
people.
and now they're bummed out, depressed because there's nothing flowing through there.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Wow.
for them to do anymore. So maybe
Right.
they are kind of
Yeah.
maybe they are presenting negative energy, which is promoting the rapid dilapidation.
Growth. Yeah. Could very
I
well
mean,
be. It's a good
What,
thought.
what's the square footage on that place? Do you remember?
I was like, yeah, 3,800 square feet.
Hmm. Wow.
That's strange.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I
Yeah.
mean, a big parking lot. You could park 200 cars in there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah,
And
Mark.
then again, I told you guys in the back, and I had a big field in the back where we used to have Halloween parties. Where I told you guys we'd blow up pumpkins and just do all sorts of crazy stuff. We had fun. It was like open. We had fireworks displays. 4th of July, man. We'd have people come out, park their cars on the back lawn, and we would have an outdoor bar open for them. It was just fabulous, fabulous.
Wow.
And it was the only place. And the next closest bar was 3 miles away, and I put him out of business simply because of that was the place to go.
Yeah. Titan makes a good point. He says, Rob, maybe likely they don't know why everyone left. Good point.
Yeah, well, maybe they don't. That's a
Yeah.
great point. But
Have
don't
you
you
ever
think?
thought about going there? Well, you're not a big ghoster, but I was going to say maybe
Well,
going
no, I'm into it now.
and,
I
and
trust me.
telling them, maybe going there and talking. You don't have to go in the building, just go in the parking lot and you can talk to them, and be like, hey, this is what happened.
Oh, you mean talk to the
Yeah.
building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because you know what? The spirits
Yeah.
inside there, they'll recognize you. They'll listen to you.
we probably are on the same vibe, right? Same energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point, you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just walk around the building and, talk.
I mean, I haven't set foot on it since 2020. I've driven past a handful of times.
Yeah.
Now you guys mention that, and I don't know why I never pulled up in the parking lot either, just to get out and look at it. I think part of me is because it's too sad. Really, it's almost like losing a member of your family.
Sure.
And not because I sold it. I was happy with the sale. What I'm displeased with is the state that it's in.
Yeah. Little Patty asked, is it weeds or moss?
Again, I haven't gotten up close and personal to see it, but it's you ever see the vines? You see how some homes have vines, just leafy vines that grow up on the side of them. It's got that going on. And from the street, when I drive by, it looks damp.
Yeah.
Now I throw out the word moss. Maybe there's no moss, but it looks just damp, and it just looks kind of spooky. I mean, if you see it from a distance when the sun is going down, it looks.
Yeah.
It looks. I tell you what, it's looking more and more like a haunted place from the street.
Yeah. It's something to think about, and maybe to give whatever's inside there some closure as well, and tell them about COVID, tell them what happened, explain to them why you sold the bar, and then what happened with COVID, and maybe they'll understand,
These are pretty cool things you guys are bringing up. I never really thought about that until like now.
You don't have to be in the building to do it, and it doesn't have to be nighttime. You can broad daylight, 9 o'clock in the morning, pull up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's even sad because I don't even know how they get away with not even, because in back of the place, again, there's a big field, and they maybe cut the lawn in the summertime, maybe once a month just to whack it. I mean, it's just God, and it sits by itself. There's not across the road. There's a gas station, and there's a party store. And then a mile up the road is a Family Dollar. And it comes off the freeway. And that's the first thing you see. When you come up the
Mm-hmm.
off ramp on 13, I think it is 13. That's the first thing you see, right at the light. And then you
Mhm.
look, there's the gas station, party store, Family Dollar, then a mile of nothing but woods. And then you drive past my place, it's nothing but woods for 4 miles. So it's
Yeah.
sitting by itself.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
back in the community, then it opens up into the subdivisions
Yeah.
where all the people live. So it's kind of by itself. And I think that's another thing. There's not even a lot of activity down that road. The only reason that place was successful because of the on and off ramp by the freeway, so it was very easy to get to. So I had a lot of people and there was Ford Motor Company it was like 8 miles from there, so it was a good destination for lunch.
Sure.
So it was always traveled, and at nighttime it was always the locals that lived in the area because that was my bar and another bar 3 miles down the road. We're the only two. We're the only two around,
Mm-hmm.
and that guy was there way before I was until I. And the bar this place was like a bad place before I got. It was like a biker bar, and biker bars are not bad. Don't get me wrong, everybody, but it was a rough crowd.
Sure.
When I got there, the first 3 years, I told you guys I didn't make any money. I had to move in with mom and dad. I got divorced because I was making no money, but it
Right.
was my dream to turn it into what I turned it into, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and had cool clients, cool customers.
Yeah.
But now, and I think you guys are so right about that. I think that the life force of the customers is drained on these spirits that live there. And I'm
Yeah.
not like you guys. I'm no investigator. I know a little about the paranormal, but you guys make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, there's another building here. Brandy mentioned it earlier called Tri-County Truck Stop. And it
Yeah.
was actually the very first truck stop on the old Route 66. Elvis Presley ate there. Marilyn Monroe ate there. Not together, but they ate there. And it closed. Oh gosh, I don't want to quote the year, but it was probably 12, 15 years ago when it actually closed its doors. And my previous paranormal team, we held overnight investigations in there of the building, and you talked about like how fast it can be run down, and it was quick. How quick
Yeah.
it started going downhill. Vagrants started getting in there. Windows were broken, and today it's an awful mess. It is a mess in there. However, my daughter called me yesterday and told me somebody actually just bought that building.
Did they really? Good. I'm glad somebody did.
Yeah, she said she's seen it on Facebook, and I told her, I said, well, read the comments, find out who did, so I can maybe reach out to them.
Exactly. Because it's a great place, and the history is just really cool. And this place is large. I'm not talking
Yeah, it's big.
some little truck stop. I'm talking
Yeah.
huge.
Really?
We're talking 3 floors.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, I understand it was really sad because, I remember when the place was open, and then to see what it is today, it's
Yeah,
sad.
it's horrible. It is
Mhm.
horrible.
Yeah. Again, yeah. I can imagine. That's.
Yeah. So
I hope so. I hope this somebody takes. I don't care who it is. Just buys and does something with what I got going on.
Yeah, that's probably what they need to do with your old building is somebody needs to buy it and give it some love. It has history.
But life again.
Yeah. I think that the current owners are missing the boat on this because they can get in with the historical society, especially because of the history with the building, and they
Thank
can
you,
do a lot of
Shane.
things with that.
We appreciate that, Shane.
Thank you, Shane. And it's like they could the historical society will help them rebuild that, and it takes time, of course you have fundraisers, things like that, but a lot of people are using
Yeah.
like paranormal groups and things like that to hold events in there to help get money because that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we don't.
I gotta get a whole. Yeah, I gotta get a. I tell you what, I think that you guys have spurred on an interest now.
You need to find out who owns the building. If it's bank owned.
Yeah, it's not. Well, I know that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call that real. I mean, there's been like this another dumb thing. There's been like 2 or 3 different realtor. There's a realtor sign on it, and it seems like it changes hands.
Yeah.
And I just think that they gotta get some. I'm gonna have to make some calls. I think tomorrow, or well, today's Friday, on Monday.
Just to find out, get a little information.
You know,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still be sitting on a gold mine and not open it up as a bar.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
true
for
story.
no, I
So-
mean, yeah,
Somebody could use that, like, again, as a museum or all kinds of stuff that they can use these old buildings for. So
Yeah.
I would just see who owns it, see if we can get in there.
And there's a lot of places that, that we do go to and investigate. They're not museums. Ashmore Estates, for instance, he uses it strictly for like the ghost hunting. So the money he makes, he's not making a killing off of ghost hunting, but he's
No.
making enough that he can, slowly do things to it and clean up the building and, things like that. So I don't know, it's just an option. Whoever owns it might be open to something like that.
yeah,
So if you hear us
no,
out there,
yeah, no, you guys have my wheels turning now. I think I'm gonna call Monday. The latest real estate. I'm gonna have to drive by there, get the number,
Yeah.
and
I'd
see
be
what's going.
curious.
What's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, there's a lot of history in these old buildings, and we always encourage people too, and Terry that's in chat, she's still a member of my old team, but they always encourage people like to join your historical societies and things like that, and donate if you can, because that's how these old buildings stay afloat. That's history. That's our history.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it was so funny too, you guys, is I got this was in 2020 Thanksgiving time, and I with everybody in that industry, many people, 3,000 in Michigan, boom, belly up. And and then I find like a lot of these mom and pop hardware stores we had around here, and it just seems odd. Is it odd to me? Do you guys notice this? Many of these buildings are all standing there with for sale signs. I mean, nothing has been repurchased. I thought the property that I have is prime. I laid out where it's sitting, the great location. Am I froze up?
You are
Yes.
froze up.
What a great smile I got,
But we can hear you just fine.
So I want, it's very sad though, is none of these places have been rebought because my property is prime property that I had. I don't even understand why a developer hasn't bought it by now.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just, it strikes me as odd. Not just
Titan wants to know real quick, Rob, did you have to disclose that you thought it was haunted when you sold it like a residential property?
was never asked,
Yeah.
never disclosed.
In Missouri, you don't have to disclose. If you have a house that's haunted, you do not have to disclose.
In Michigan, I think you have to disclose if there was I think a homicide.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's our history. I'm a big history buff though, and I hate to hear about that with buildings like that.
Yeah, it would be really cool to dig into that history and
Yeah.
really get
Absolutely.
into that, because you just hate to lose the stories. Again, this is not only the building's history, it's our history.
Yeah.
And I just hate to lose that kind of stuff. I just
No, it's sad. It's very
it's
sad.
like, oh well, you go to show your kids, well, that's where that used to sit. They're like, oh yeah, great, it's just grass.
Right. Yeah.
They have no clue on what it looks like or anything. You can't give them anything more than that.
Yeah. Yep. Rob
And
got out, come back. He'll come back in.
Yeah, he'll come back in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, his poor internet. He's just gonna have to do what I said, just bite the bullet and go somewhere else.
Go somewhere else.
I don't. That's why I have to rely on my phone service, because I only have one choice here with my Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
and it's terrible. I'm not gonna say who it is because I don't want anything to happen to it, but it's terrible, and I can't get anything else.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why I have to rely on my phone service to do all this.
Yeah. You know what? Titan makes an interesting comment here. Says, I do know a couple here in Texas that sued because they placed a charm spell in their house to sell it and didn't disclose it. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy.
I didn't know that. Well,
either.
I mean,
I wonder how that outcome was. I wonder if it like held up in court where the judge,
right, because
that Titan, yeah,
because that would have to
No.
somebody would have to say, yeah, I believe in that,
right.
which would hold up in court.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's funny because most courts are gonna kind of throw that kind of stuff out, I would think.
Yes.
I do know. Yeah.
I don't know if the laws have changed in Missouri, but like I said, I don't know if you have to disclose it if somebody was actually murdered in the home.
That I don't know.
Or died at home.
Yeah.
I know that my house was free and clear when I bought it, because I actually did ask the question. Because I wanted to know, is anybody passed away in the home, blah, blah, blah. Because this house was in foreclosure when I got it, and it had sat abandoned for almost 2 years. So I actually asked the question, well, did somebody get hurt, pass away in the home?
Right.
No, everything's good. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Good deal.
Need that on my back too,
Mm-hmm. When I lived over in Atchison, Kansas, we went and looked at a house, and Atchison, Kansas is very, very haunted. Like that whole dang town is full of haunted houses. And there was a house there that we looked at with Tony Pickman, and considered buying it and rehabbing it and maybe flipping it. It was, price cheap. We walked in that house and was walking around through there, and I could tell something was going on, and Tony was looking at me, and I had the girls with me at the time, and they were probably like 5 and 7 at the time. Mm-hmm. And he looked at me, he told me, he said, you get them kids out of this house. And next thing you know, that the upstairs light was like a chandelier, and it started swaying, and I'm like, okay, time to go, girls. So I took the girls outside, and yeah,
there was something seriously wrong with Atchison, Kansas. I am not kidding you. There is something wrong with that town, the whole town.
Yeah, it's fully haunted.
I mean, because you see on TV where they're saying, oh, this is a ghost town or a haunted town, or no. Atchison, Kansas is for real. The whole place has got bad juju. It all does.
Yeah.
I can't figure out why. I mean, it makes you wonder if there's something in the ground or something that we're missing in history that we're not cluing in on.
Penny Van says to Rob, might not hurt to check your own property's history where you live. You've had your fair share of rotten luck with so many things. And she could
you know what, Penny? I'm laughing. I'm laughing because Penny is a true follower of my stories. Thank you, Penny. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny. I lost my internet. When the wind blows, so I'm like, man, what the hell's going on? So I go upstairs. We have a tornado warning. I didn't know because I got the headphones on. I couldn't hear. We have green skies here.
Oh,
go figure. Yeah. So, but anyways.
Well, stay safe.
Anyways.
The show must go on. So we're fine.
So we see Rob did.
You see,
the lights go out. I mean, completely during a show. Lights go out, but I'm still here, and I've got like my phone doing this.
This.
Hey, the show must go on.
The show always goes on. I don't miss any shows unless I lose power or my internet. Right? I mean, that's what we do, and you guys are the same way. Texas is the same way. So, it's like, talk about creepy towns. I did a story, I put on, it's a video about this guy sent in to me. And let me tell you, I want your guys' opinion on this. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you the name of the story. It's in my head. I did it maybe a couple of months ago about this guy. I couldn't even tell you the state that he was in. But him and his wife decided to go into the forest from their house. and they were driving through the forest on their way to their destination.
Mhm.
Again, I'm just going from memory, don't know where it was. However, and then they said, "Hey, Rob, man, this town we came across was really creepy."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Well, how do you mean?" Well, I don't say that. I'm thinking it was an email, so I'm going through this email. So let me ask you guys if you've ever heard this before. So finally, the wood line opens up to a small village or community. And on either side of the road, there are like mom and pop shops, your small basic houses alongside the road. Nothing fancy.
Mhm.
And the guy described them almost as over glorious shacks. So I'm
Right.
guessing a poor area. There's a cemetery on the left, and on the right there might have been a funeral home. And then they get further in, and they get to another section of homes, and they were driving. I think the speed limit was 15 miles an hour. So this husband and wife are looking out their windows, and they see the people in their front yards of every house that they
Mhm.
went past. There was people in their front yards, and they were all walking around in their front yards with their heads down, and they're kind of just walking in circles about their property and looking just strange. I mean,
Wow.
first of all, to see anybody with your head down, I mean, who walks with their head down on their front lawn, just kind of moping about? The way he described it, they were moping about their front lawns, heads down, their shoulders sunk
Mhm.
down, and just kind of meandering. And then the further down the road they noticed that these small businesses, there was like people, like an old Clark gas station.
Mhm.
There, the gas station attendant was just sitting on a bench. His head is like kind of flopped
Sounds
down.
like zombies.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what, I was thinking that, but they weren't zombies. But so the guy says, I'm gonna pull in this Clark gas station. And he says, man, it was weird because this Clark gas station, it was there was an old bell you rung, and some guy
Mhm.
came out and they checked your oil, they refilled, so some kid comes out all, walking out like a zombie, right?
Sounds
So the
like the
guy
movie
the guy
Children of the Corn. Remember that
yeah, so
movie?
this guy, yeah, so this guy goes into the gas station. The old man that was sitting on the bench, I apparently was the attendee, follows the guy into the gas station, asks the guy, you need a fill up, sir? Full service. We only offer full service, extra $5. Yeah, whatever. But this guy was more intrigued. He goes, I got to ask you, sir, and there's no disrespect.
Mhm.
I'm driving through this town, and it seems kind of odd and peculiar around here. I see people out walking around, kind of they're dejected looking, like just moping around, and he was going to say, and I see you out here half asleep. This kid, I guess this kid that came out that said, full service would look like a creepy dude. He goes, you ain't been in these parts of town, have you, sir? Well,
Mhm.
no, I haven't. Where you aim on going? Well, I aim on going, to this campsite about another
Yeah.
30 miles due south. Well, get the hell out of this town before sun goes down. And this is, of course, I'm just
Wow.
making that,
I'm just like,
I'm, I don't
I
know if the
take
guy
evil
talked
with
like
you.
that. I'm enhancing his voice, right? I don't know I was reading an email. So, and the guy's looking at this guy really creepy. He goes, what? He's like, why? You just don't want to be in these parts. You don't want to be in these parts. So,
Wow.
guy gets creeped out. He fills up, got some snacks, got a pack of cigarettes. The wife goes, what's going on? He goes, man, let's get the hell out of here, man. Let's just
Mhm.
go. So the guy, they're driving through night. Now they pull over. They find a rest stop. They want to they're not close they're about an hour from their destination, but they're very tired. The guy is like falling asleep at the wheel. The wife says, pull over. And there's now they find it like a nice lit up Shell gas station or whatever. Lights, a lot of cars in there. The guy pulls in. He says, let's take about an hour nap. Then we'll continue on to our destination. So again, he gets out of the car, goes in this beautiful modern gas station, and he goes in. Okay, he goes in to buy a drink, a beverage, whatever. I don't know. And you know what he said was so strange about this? He goes into the Shell, and guess who the attendant is? That creepy dude from the old dilapidated Clark gas station. He walks in and sees this guy, and he says to him, fancy meeting you here. You work at 2 gas stations. This guy looks him dead in the face. What the hell are you talking about? And then he talked normal, not like that.
Wow.
What are you talking about? I've never seen you before, sir. Do you know me? Yeah, I just seen you about 3 hours ago back in that. I told you about that creepy town. Sir, I'm sorry, but I've never seen you before in my life.
Oh my gosh.
What the hell is that?
Doppelganger.
Yeah, could be maybe.
Yeah, you know?
Like a whole town doppelganger, though. I mean, that's just kind of weird.
Well, it was the one guy, but yeah, I mean, the creepy people were in
Yeah,
that
but-
older, creepy neighborhood. Gets to the creepy gas station, the creepy guy,
Yeah.
creepy kid, the creepy guy. The creepy guy says, you should be in these parts because it's, blah, blah, at nighttime, blah, blah, blah. But okay. So he drives another couple hours, finds the Shell. Beautiful, all lit up, a lot of customers there milling about. Goes in, and this same guy from the Clark is there, same clothes, but he spoke normal. He didn't speak all blah, blah, blah. Spoke normal. Sir, I've never seen you before.
Yeah.
That was strange. That was a very strange story. So I'm trying to figure out, what the hell was going on with this.
Right. Well,
So you're talking.
Penny commented that a Wendigo is known for doing that creepy stuff. Maybe.
I'm just thinking Twilight Zone. That's what's coming to mind right now.
Yeah.
I can see it like running through my head, even in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So that was I think I did that story. I think that's on video. So I think I put that on. I made a story out of that. I don't even know what the hell to call that because it was just bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a TV show that was on that's called like From or something like that. And it's like that where these people would be going on vacation or driving to somewhere, and they'll end up in this town, and then they can't get out of it.
No
They
doubt.
can't get out of it. They're just like, you could drive on the road and keep driving, and next thing you know, you're driving right back around in a circle. You just can't get out of there.
Yeah,
and no matter how they try, when they walk around or try to get out, they'll just keep walking around.
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny you mentioned that, Brandy, really quickly. It's a little off topic. Those are exactly my dreams that I get now. I'm always lost. I keep driving around or walking around, can never escape whatever situation I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I was in what appeared to be Las Vegas, but was also connected to the ghetto, which I'm trying to escape. Those are my dreams the last couple of months. I can't escape from anywhere. I mean, I only brought that up because you said that, because that's exactly my dreams.
Right.
But going back to this story, like you say, it is Twilight Zone material.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, especially to see some, and this guy knew, he goes, right, I know for a fact this same guy. He had the same clothes on. The only thing, he talked normal. He didn't talk all slow and, hey, what you do in these parts? You talk like, hey, hello, sir, may I help you? Well, that's $25.79. Oh, I saw you early. No, you didn't. Who the hell are you? Well, that creepy, neighborhood. Don't know what you're talking about, sir. Have a nice day.
Wow.
Yeah, Titan said it's the show From. It's called From, is what the one I was talking about. Yeah, I had it right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Titan. Because I knew it was something like that, and I've watched a few episodes of it.
I love Penny. Penny says something. Welcome to Batshit Crazyville.
Well, Vixen Doe makes a comment here. says there's a town in Arizona like that. People don't move. They just watch you drive through, go back.
Okay,
and find
yeah,
it.
okay. Well, then I guess, I guess these towns
And you can't.
exist.
Exactly.
You
That's
know?
yeah. That
So,
is
I don't know.
messed up. That
Danny's
is
Yeah.
it's
doppelganger.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy story.
Yeah. When you were first describing it, though, it reminded me of the movie, the old original Children of the Corn. Have you seen that?
A
Stephen
long
King.
time ago.
Yeah.
I've seen all his
That movie used to creep me out as a kid, but
That's a crazy movie.
yeah.
And if you think about it, though, I've seen many a movie which is similar. You ever see that movie with that hotel in the middle of the desert where everyone's kind of like that, and once you go in the hotel room, you can't get out, and they had all these, and the attendant of the hotel could see in all the rooms, and I guess the people eventually all got like murdered.
Yeah, I kind of vaguely know, but I don't remember what it's called. Like they had peepholes or something, and they could watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, on a side note, let me tell you about that here, about 10 miles from me. The singer Chuck Berry
Oh yeah.
had a restaurant and bar here about 10 miles from me, and
Yeah.
he got in trouble, big trouble, because he had peepholes in his bathrooms. Totally off topic, I know, but people
Chuck used to say,
Berry.
Chuck used to say, there she is again by the end of the record machine.
I was like, this quick.
Right.
Rabbit hole.
And Chuck used to say, it's too damn pretty to be a minute over 13. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, Chuck, man.
Yeah.
Pedophile.
Yeah. Yep.
And
That's
I like his
that's a
music.
rabbit hole, big one.
Yeah.
Oh,
But, you
man.
know, if anyone can remember that movie, if you'll put it out there in chat, I would like to see that. I don't think I've seen that. Maybe I did. I don't know. I don't remember it. Oh my God, Penny.
I know Terry remembers it in the women's bathroom, and that was a true story. And then he says, "To the twist," in front of people's face.
Penny.
I like Penny. She's crazy.
Yep. Yeah. I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole, but
Yeah, I know. Well, this is,
And
after
honestly,
the
I drive by
after,
that building all the time, and I think about it like, what a pervert he was.
that's too bad.
That's just too bad.
Yeah, Penny, I was kidding when I called you crazy. I see. Wow, LOL. I know. You're cool. I like you.
Yep. That's funny.
I needed that.
Yes, I
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody, I see everybody talking about these little hearts that you see in chat, the heart down at the
Yeah,
bottom.
they're annoying. I agree with them.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
can't
know
see
what
the
it is.
chat. Yeah, I don't know what
Yep.
that is.
I have them on my phone too.
I hate that. It
So if
gets them in the
anybody can
chat.
figure out how to get rid of them,
Yeah,
let
please.
us know.
Yeah.
I
Let
can't remember that out there. I'm like, man. I'm trying
I
to
tell
pay
you what,
attention.
typically, it's annoying because typically if I watch your guys' show or whoever, I typically always watch on the TV. I'm on bed. I don't watch on my phone or the computer,
Yeah.
and I'll have my phone handy to participate in chat. And so the other day, I'm pulling up my phone. I want to make a comment, and I'm like, "Who would this last person say? Oh, a damn heart is covering it up. I don't know what they said."
Right.
So you have to wait for the next chat to come up, so it scrolls up.
Yeah, it's annoying. It is annoying.
Yeah,
And
I
it
don't
says,
like
aren't
that.
you happy you don't know me in real life rolling on the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to meet you in real life.
Yeah, I'd actually love to meet you, Penny Van.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd make it out live.
You
We
know.
might
Right.
die of
In
laughter.
fact, I'd love to meet all these people in chat because they're
I would
all
too.
they're all very unique and funny, and they're all
Yes,
really
absolutely.
smart. The
Yeah.
people that follow, I got to say this: the people that follow you guys, me, Tech, Jason, they're all so down to earth and cool, and knowledgeable, and there's no assholes. They're really cool people. So I
really
like that's
cool
why I like doing this. I really do.
I do too. And we've been fortunate. We've met some of them, and that's
I've
been
met,
cool.
yeah. There's always a bad apple, I guess, but
Yeah, we've met some of them, and they're really cool. So
yeah.
We get to meet more next
Yeah.
week. next week.
Yes.
Next week
You
is
haven't got your
Paranormal
tickets,
Dinner.
everybody.
Yeah.
Just to bring that up if she can see it, but
Yep.
Malvern Manor in Malvern, Iowa.
find it.
That is
Yeah.
the 8th of July. Don't forget that. We still have a few tickets available. Once we sell these, we're not selling any more limited, just because we wanted to get a really good experience while we're there with everybody.
Yep.
You can go to Eventbrite to get your ticket. Just type in Malvern Manor. It should be one of the first things that pops up in there.
Yep. And it will be. And then the next one we can talk about, we can do this one real quick.
Yes, the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference in Gatlinburg. That is July 21st, I believe.
21st, 22nd. It's that Saturday, whatever that Saturday is.
Yeah.
Are you guys staying there? Is that the weekend?
Yeah, we're going. We all rented a house, and I seen Joanstead Farms in the chat. She's one staying with us at the house, and several of us. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something about riding a donkey and
yeah. Well,
I'm not quite sure what's happening.
Riding a donkey.
Okay,
I don't know.
So let's explain this one though. So we were talking about the Saturday night after the conference, where we can all go get something to eat or whatever.
Right.
Robbie Raines from DAX Machina, his show, his co-host, he said there was a place in Gatlinburg. You know how they have the Bronco bulls, the mechanical bulls in some places? Well, this place has a mechanical donkey. So that's where we're going.
So for all of our members, you
can see Brandy and Krista ride the donkey.
Yes.
You never know.
I'll get on it for our members. I'll do it. I mean, you can watch me fall off. It'd be all right.
If I was there, I would. If I was there, I would do it. I'd ride the donkey.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun. We're looking forward to it. Just to meet everybody.
It's going to be a great time. So,
and the Nana boss, she's in chat too, and she'll actually be with us. So, by golly, if me and Brandy get on that donkey, guess who else is coming on that donkey?
Yeah.
They play a little Chuck Berry in the background.
Right? No Chuck Berry.
No.
I'm anti Chuck Berry. I'm sorry. I don't even like his music, and my opinion.
Sweet little 16. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yes, Patty. We said donkey. We weren't kidding. It's a mechanical donkey.
Yeah. Yep. I think the way Robbie, when he suggested, I think he had been there. So, and then, so we have reservations for there.
So I mean, this should be fun. Like I said, you may get a little shot of that in our membership group.
Yep. That's it. Yeah, Nana says, I highly doubt that. I don't need an ER visit. And I'm with you, sister. I don't either. We'll put and video her.
I'll get on it. What the hell? I'll get on it.
I got to give a shout out to the real Polly T. I haven't seen you in forever, real Polly T.
Well, hello, Polly T. Thanks for joining us.
Too bad you had to join us at the end of the show. Dang it.
Right.
I
do got something that I can talk about real quick.
Okay.
So yesterday, my ex-husband messaged me out of the blue. I don't talk to him. I mean, I see him at the kids' things and stuff. I mean, we're friendly, but not friendly. And anyway, so years ago, I got to thinking when he was messaging me about the kids. I asked him, he had come home one time and he had said that he had seen this creature off in a field and it wasn't a bear. And I remember him coming home and saying this. And we lived on his family's farm. And I asked him about it. And he said he remembered it. It was not a bear. He does know that. He said it was about 500 to 600 pounds. It was on all fours. And he said it was like a dark blackish or dark brownish blackish color. And I don't know. I just find that interesting because he is one that doesn't. He's not a believer.
Yeah, and he specifically said it wasn't a bear.
Yeah, and he said that again yesterday. And so I asked him. I said, "Well, you need to tell me more about this."
Yeah.
So, and I told him, I said, I can bring you on the show. And he's like, I know thanks. But yeah, and when he was a kid, this I found interesting too. And everything came back kind of yesterday when I was chatting with him about this weird stuff. But when he was a kid, he said he was about 2 or 3 years old, and his mom told him that a wolf tried to take off with him. We don't have wolves in Missouri.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And
we need to dig into that a little bit more.
Yeah. And the family farm, there's a slave cemetery on the property. There's a regular cemetery right there, and just a lot of weirdness out there. And had I known this, 20 years ago when I lived out there, and done this kind of stuff, it would have been interesting.
Oh, yeah. Wow, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the family.
Wendy asked, are you going to wear your red, white, and blue bandana rag for the 4th?
Yeah, I guess so. Well,
Definitely
I got one.
An important question. I agree.
Yeah, I know, probably. Now, on the 4th, though, I don't know what I'm doing. Or speaking of the 4th, Tuesday, Beyond Mars Tuesday, that's 4th of July. I don't know that. I don't have no guests. I don't know that I'll be home. I don't know if I'm going to run a rerun or just BS with Tex. I don't know what Tex is doing. So Tuesday, I might not be on. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be out running around yet.
No, of course, Brandy.
You got to save that up so you can go out to that island, because I really want to see that.
I do too.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, I want to do the show with Jessica. I want to get the remote view done, and I want to do that show, and then I want to get with my buddy and go in August. I'm thinking August.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if I'll be able to stream that. I don't even know if there's I'm going, whether I stream it or not. I probably won't make a show out of it because I'll probably just go. Unless I might be bebop in on my phone. Hey, I'm out here. Here's, maybe show a.
Yeah.
I like to do something, but again, this is all, in the works.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely do a video out there and drop it on YouTube later. Hey, that's not
later. Yeah.
We do that at the LBL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to see it.
Oh, yeah. I want to see it for sure.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about that. That's gonna be a good one there, Rob.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's kind of like a 2-parter series, maybe even 3 parts.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be. I'm excited. I'll just leave it at that because.
And here's the thing. Let me give you heed warning. When you go there for the first time and you start investigating, this case, it was kind of like Brandy with the LBL, Brandy and myself, you want to go back. So don't think that's going to be your only time. You're going to want to go back for more.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Especially if it's especially if you get that feeling, because I'll get the feeling immediately. Because I can pick up on stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, so we're coming up on an hour and 54 minutes here.
Yeah.
That went by fast.
It did go by fast. This was fun. I like these kind of shows where we just chit chat about whatever.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's a good time.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy that for sure.
Next time,
a lot of times,
to jump up here.
A lot of times, people like it more than having to get. Been a regular how we do.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, these are fun for me. So anyway,
I enjoy them.
Everybody tuning in and next Thursday I believe is Carlito Castro, and next Friday is live from the Ray County Museum.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I think that'd be sweet. That'll be a good one. I like Carlito. I never met the guy. I talk to him all the time on Facebook. With Tom Cardos, they have a thing too together. I think.
Yeah.
But so for me on next Tuesday, up in the air for Tuesday. But Thursday, we're going to have a cool guest, me and you, Brandy. Or not, Chris.
Like what? Did you fire me on the air here?
Yeah, I got my new
Hold
co-host.
on. Wait a minute.
Brandy and Chris are interchangeable. I've done it to both of you
Yeah.
equally. I love you both
Yeah.
equally, as I always
I
say.
know.
We have Amber from Amber's Para World
Awesome.
coming on Thursday the 6th.
Okay.
Because
Sounds
she's got a
great.
pretty cool channel, and she really wants to dig into because she just had some strange happenings with her antiques, and she
Gotcha.
happened to catch one of the shows where I was talking about it, and she actually got a hold of me. Says, Rob, we got to talk about your antiques because I got a similar story. So I'm going to bring her on Thursday next week, and we're going to discuss that. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Looking forward to it.
Yep.
I like doing your shows too.
Oh yeah, I love doing all your shows.
Yep.
You guys, I could do this every night with you guys.
Every
Friday night.
I can do the same thing. I am with you because, like,
You never know what you're really gonna get. It's just like,
Right.
okay.
It's
Right.
cool because when you start talking with no subject, because when we did this, everybody, we just started talking, and then you
Yeah.
never know where it goes, which is always
Right.
the fun part.
Yeah.
It's like an
Yeah.
investigation. You never know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
Yeah, 'cause we sure did. We're like, well, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
Okay, here we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in, and yeah. Is there anything else we need? I don't think so. We went
I
over.
think you're
everything.
good. I think you
We're
can cut it.
We're good.
All right, you guys all have
I
a good
think you
week.
can look for the button text.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to find the button here. I am because yeah.
Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Yep. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Be safe. Bye bye.